Well, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Think Tank. We're here today with Veteran Tank. Um, that one we're going to cover pretty much just the VA. We're going to go over some resources and things that they have out there, and then we're also going to kind of just share my experience that I had with the VA. But let's go ahead and kick it off here. We're starting with the My Healthy Vet. www.myhealth.va.gov. If you don't have the My Healthy Vet, go ahead and set that up, especially if you have if you already have like ongoing disability services, you probably already know about this and things like that. But it is a way that you'll be able to communicate with your healthcare team. So it's super huge to use that. Yeah, I got papers today. So let's we'll just jump into my experience with the VA so far. I know a lot of us have our own misconceptions and feelings towards the VA, especially transitioning out of the military. It's not the information not shared properly or in the best way that it could be um, at every command, and I think that's really the issue. I'm a kind of be fair with this one because if I think about the manpower of the VA and everything that they have going on, and the amount of commands that we have out of all of the military branches as a total, and then if you look at on a monthly basis how many of these service members are exiting out and how many of these transitional classes that they're going to have at any given time during that month, it's a strain on the one entity that's supposed to be getting involved with that, which is the VA. Which, hey, poo-poo VA, because yes, with all the funding that's going on, we could honestly fund the VA better so that way they can have the manpower and resources to be able to service veterans a lot better. And that might answer at least one of the ongoing questions we have with in regards to like homeless vets, the suicide rates with vets, and then also the drug abuse with vets, drug and alcohol. We'll loop that all in together to include and not to be forgotten at all. The mental health aspect for vets, because a lot of our issues are coming from things we did to keep this country the way that it is today. So we're just gonna go ahead and start right in there with that tidbit. With my personal experience when it came to the transitional process, that was really that's flies. I don't know why there's flies right now, but there was really not a smooth transition into the resources that are there for VA. Like we had, I think, a military it was one of the sailors that was there talking to us and directing the entire class. And I believe we did have a VA rep come in to cover benefits, but it was like a block of time, just a segment of time that was really given to us. And then at some point, we did get to go work with the reps if you got the free time outside. But us military folks, once it's quitting time, it's time to go because if you hang around, you might find yourself working more, and that's mm-mm. Get somebody else to do it. So with that limited time, and then also it's such a not it's such a fragile spot right there of transitioning out. It's so many questions you don't even know to ask or even think about because you've been military for so long. So they just kind of give you a generalization of the transition, but it's not really good enough at all because we don't cover the mental health aspect of it at all. We don't really go more into careers. It's just more so of like talk about trades, talk about college, um, and then, workforce. Get yourself like no one's talking about like the difficulties you're going to run into, the culture shock that you're going to experience from being in the military for X amount of time and then going back into the civilian world. That adjustment is going to take time. You might not even realize it at first. It might even take a few years for you to really see it. But it also depends on how long you've been doing autopilot on your military life. Like when you get out, you kind of just do what you know and you still roll in the military way, just more relaxed. You just don't realize it until you find a location that's really truly relaxed and you're going to feel out of place because you're like, why can't we just get the work done? Go work at a job where people don't really want to work and they tell their bosses, fuck off. You're not gonna like, yeah, we did that in the Navy too, but at the end, like we would complain, but we're still gonna do the job. And there's some places you're gonna go where you're the only one working because you're the only one that has that sense of purpose to like, no, I need to get this job done. That's a culture shock within itself because you might even find yourself thinking that, man, I was really a shitbag in the Navy or whatever branch you were in. And then you come out here and being a stellar person with your lackluster work ethic, but what you don't realize is you're ingrained to be as a high performing person, even though you might think you were a shitbag in the civilian world, you're still high performing, and that's let's go ahead and process that for a second. We don't talk about that though with the transition. So let's fast forward because that's past. Let's go to present. For the longest, I did take forever to go with the VA. I attempted a few times. It's just the wait time was super, super bad. And then there was a lot of things going on with the VA, with them not being able to, you know, really service like they would like to or intend to. Then we had I think they were getting investigated at one point. So that was a big, huge debacle there where that kind of spoiled a lot of the trust issues. The trust relationship with a lot of vets there. And then also you have the misconception that a lot of people think like the VA is for the old vets, like combat vets, like if you've been blown up or anything like that. So there's, I know if you're a veteran, you're a veteran. And if you have illnesses or anything like that that was caused from, what you were doing, then, you got to handle that. So I stayed away from the website for a while because it was kind of confusing at first, but since then they have revamped everything with the VA, and I do love that. So with the new additions that they have going on with the website, it's making it super user friendly to be able to find anything and everything that you need. So if you do not have a account at va.gov, go ahead and get you an account, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's going to be super beneficial, and you really don't even need an account to access a lot of the stuff on the website. But if you want to start linking things to your profile and to your records and things, then it would get yourself a to log into the VA website. On that search bar, you don't even need to be an expert to know where you're going. You can search it. You can just in their search bar, you can search the website for whatever you want to. Like I was on there earlier looking into the Mission Act, and then I was also on there looking into this community care, urgent care assistance. So the reason why I even bring any of those up is because it's exactly what we'll segue into here in a few. But let's get back to the VA experience. So I finally went on the website and I got my account and everything. I had did the first thing that I did with the VA was starting my claim to get my disability. So after doing that, going through the website, filling out all the information, I got set up out here. Since I'm out here in Arizona, we partnered the VA partnered with this third party called QTC. It might be in other places, but not really sure. But with QTC, they were able to. I'm sorry, I'm also trying to put this on sleep because I'm getting notifications popping up. It's distracting me a little bit, so I do apologize. But um, so one of when I well yeah, so I did went through everything, fill out all the forms and all that with the VA through the website. Went through QTC, and that's when I started to actually do my in person with the healthcare providers. I wasn't one of those folks in the Navy that constantly went to, medical and got all my stuff documented. I didn't go to medical that much. Like I did for like my no shave shit, and then if I had to go to medical, like to get sick call or whatever like that, or if I was like if I truly got injured, then yeah, I would have gone to medical. But there was a lot of small stuff I did not go to medical for, like things like I didn't have an extensive, heavy record, or even my record paled in a lot of people's. I didn't think I was going to get much when I started this. Like I thought I was going to maybe get like a few percentages or whatever. I didn't expect to get what I got originally, but that's when I learned how badly I actually was jacked up when I went through that process. So going through everything, doing the physicals and stuff, and even knowing like when you're going with the physical because it's an evaluation. Like a lot of people go in there with the mindset of like, okay, my these issues aren't bothering me right now. So when they're asking you for like your pain levels and stuff like that, a lot of people are giving them like the right now. But you have to go in there with the mindset you're being evaluated for the totality of your injuries. So not what your pain level is right now, when it's at its worst, what is your pain levels? Is it debilitating? Is it preventing you from doing your day to day life or day to day job, or anything like that? Like that That's the question that they're truly asking, and you can even ask for clarity. And I think I even had a doctor that explained that to me while there too. Like not what you're feeling right now. Like when it's at its worst. Like what is your pain levels there? And then I think they will compare it to like how you feel right now. But then they do like a range of motion and a few other things in that process to kind of just evaluate my movement. And once everything was said and done, and I did my last appointment, that's when they'll send everything off to the VA, and it's going to go to the higher ups there, and they do what they need to do with it. And then you start to get communications back. That time frame can vary. I've known people to get some people have gotten back in the time frame that they typically would give, which that also varies. I can't remember what mine was. And then some people have been waiting months, months, and some a little bit longer. But have no fear. Your the minute you file that date, when you submit your application for your intent to file, from that date is what they track. So no matter how long they take with this process, as long as you've completed everything you need to do, you did your check-ins, and yeah, you can follow up. You can call in if you like and just kind of get a gauge. And if this is still being looked into, then it's good. I mean, there's more. There's either they found more evidence for them to go through, or they're getting more documentation because the VA holds your medical record, so it's already in the vault, so they have access to your medical record. You can actually go on the VA website and get a copy of your medical record. They send it to you in a CD, and you can download it to anything and open it up. I personally have my medical record linked with Apple, so whenever the VA updates anything, or if whenever my medical records that partner with Apple and know what they're doing, I have my medical record on my phone, so I can actually pull up my VA medical record. It has my diagnosis on there. It even has my no shave shit records on my phone right now, and that's from ages ago. So as long as your HMs or Cormans or whomever is your medical for each branch, I don't know. Because I think Army and Marine uses numbers and letters. So whoever your medical as long as they did their due diligence to make sure your stuff was documented when you did go, it's in there. It's all going to be inside the vault or inside one of the systems somewhere, and more is being added into it as they discover more stuff. So Um, with that being, they look at the totality of everything. They look at if they can find anything in your Navy or military. I'm sorry, anything in your military record that can connect to any of your claims and stuff like that. And that's primarily what they're looking for. They need to know. They need to see if what you are experiencing was caused by something that occurred while you were serving in the military. And if they cannot find any evidence of that being there, then you have to supplement that. How do you supplement that? It's part of phase two. We're gonna get into that. Make sure this is still on because I'm just looking at y'all talking. So once I got through that whole process, everything, I waited. I think it took me like 6 months. I'm ballparking it. I have to double check it out. I say about 6 months. That's when I finally found out. I found out because I got a payment first. I looked at my account. I had just a random deposit of a crazy amount. And I was like, where did that even come from? It even said like CP or something, and it showed it was from the VA, but it was different from my education benefits. I was in school at the time, so I'm like, this can't be my VA. I already got that. So I actually ended up calling the VA and was like, "Hey, I got this payment that says this, and I'm not sure what it is or anything like that." I wasn't savvy at the VA website at this time, mind you. So the only thing I did do, like I was mentioning, was my claim. I didn't explore it just yet, so I didn't know I can just look on there and see like I do now. But they pulled up my profile. They didn't make me feel dumb or anything. They just pulled up my profile simply and was like, "Oh yeah, that's going to be your disability claim. You're at 60%." I'm like, "Oh, oh, got it. Okay, cool." And then that's when I explained to me. It's like, "Oh yeah, you can see it on their website and everything." They told me about where I can go in the website to look at my claims, and that's another reason why if you log in, you create an account, and everything, it's all right there on your dash. As soon as you log in, it has like some quick links that you could go to, and you can actually track your debt management and all that. Like it has all that information. I actually pull it up for y'all in a second. I know I'm not gonna be able to screen share it or nothing, but I want to be able to pull it up there and be able to be factual in what I'm saying. But anywho, um, I got all that done, so I didn't really touch anything anymore. I didn't really think nothing else of VA. I knew I wanted to probably try again, but I knew I had to do like some other work, and I again wasn't savvy at the time into it. I kind of just left it by the wayside. So we get to the PAC Act. The PAC Act comes around, and I was like, "This is a perfect opportunity to re-rate because I know my disabilities have been getting worse, and I wanted them to like look at that. I wanted them to look into these things." So the PAC Act went through, and I refiled, um, adding the PAC Act and also showing that there was more adjustment needed. Um, they evaluated me for the PACT Act and everything, and they approved me for an additional 10% from that. And then I had missed one appointment. I do got to reschedule it, but my my account or my filing went into like a fact find status. So even though they approved me for my 10%, it's like it's still open because I am I'm looking into I'm having to reevaluate some of my physical injuries. I did not reclaim any mental, only my physical. So a little birdie had told me once before, whatever you get from mental health initially, leave it. Don't try anything with that because as mental health changes and goes, people are going to side in different ways and what ways, what way. So I'm not sure what the VA scale is for the mental health right now. Leave it alone until we get more solid ground on that. Leave it alone. Uh, just look at your physical. Just focus on the physical. Take care of your mental, but focus on your physical when it comes to your things. So, with that being said, I went through, yeah, with the pack, I've got everything finalized and everything. So by this time now, I'm a little more savvy with the website. I'm able to go in there. I'm able to check to see what's going on with that. I'm able to see what's going on with like appointments and everything. Yada yada yada. Got my 70. Saw that my thing was still pending. And I was like, and I shared it on my Facebook for those who've been following me on there. That I'm probably gonna go back through with my PCM and have them now document the progression that my disability has had. Like I won't be able to get the VA doctors to actually look and see how much worse it has gotten since then. So when I do go back and refile, at least I will have the medical support and documentation of the VA doctors already stating that yes, my condition has gotten worse. And then I can file for them to readjust my compensation through that way. Because if you're continuing to get, if you're progressively breaking down, then you're more disabled than you were when you originally filed. So that's the thing. And that's what it is. And if the military did that to you, you got things they should pay. They should be compensated. Um, Now the experience for the PCM when I recently went and did that. I'm going to the new VA out here in Arizona. They recently built this building. It's pretty nice in there. They got a canteen in there, little kitchen for people who don't know. It's like they got a grill and stuff. Like they had like burgers, chili dogs, chicken tenders. I ended up getting chicken tenders and fries. They had like a little store, so like an exchange right there inside the cantina with typical exchange items in there. That's the next for us in the Navy. I think it's exchange and most others. But pretty neat, pretty cool. And then everything, all the specialties that I needed were like either on the first, second, third, or fourth floor. Everyone was neatly and signs completely visible. It was very, very handicap friendly. So like when I first pulled up, the first two rows of parking anywhere close to the building was nothing but handicap. Like I had to go park in the second segment of the parking lot because at that point is when it started regular parking. Anything in that first lot, all handicap. Or don't it did not matter where you parked at. It was handicap. I'm like, got it. Okay. Cool beans. So perfectly great for that. If I once I get to the point of where I can get the placard, I will get the placard, and I also will be parking in the handicap spot. Um, I pulled in there. The place was really nice, really really clean. For those who don't know, the VA has its own law enforcement. They have a Veterans Affairs Police Department. It is a federal police. Last time I checked, yeah, they were federal. I don't think they go to Flexi though. I'm gonna double check that because if it is, hey, if you got an opportunity to go to Flexi, freaking go. It's amazing. It would change your life. Anywho, so It was real safe and secure and stuff like that. I didn't bring Big Bertha or nothing. I left her where she needed to be, and all secured and whatnot. So I was able to go in there with peace of mind. As soon as I went in, I already had like my appointment scheduled. Like so, then that's what I'm missing. So my actual appointment with my doctor, my provider, is going to be this Tuesday. Where I went to go was this new pilot program that they're trying to do to alleviate the stress and the burden on all the scheduling. And we back. Sorry about that. I had a quick little intermission, real quick. Okay. So if there's a segment that's missing, I didn't cover it or a gap that I then by all means, I'm probably gonna edit this part out too here. So I'm just do some filler in case I do decide to keep it because it doesn't sound too bad. He just started this car. So I guess we could just sit here and like look at each other deeply and immensely. And if I do keep this, I hope this makes you laugh. I hope you get a little chuckle, a little giggle out of the seriousness of the tone. Okay. So to recap on what might have been missed in that last part, I was thinking I was going into like how everything was like neatly organized and all that. So, I was talking about the pilot program to alleviate the stress and the burden on the schedule right now that's already happening. So with with ongoing the ongoing status at the moment with the amount of there we go the amount of appointments that are being requested, and then of course the number of providers and stuff like that, and to also source to that particular VA, they have the RNs that are doing the like an initial or like an intake appointment where they start your labs up or anything that they might have. If you got any X-rays for your claims or for any of the issues that you're coming in there for, because when you request the appointment with your PCM, they do ask you like, do you have a list of concerns or any concerns that you want to look into, or is it something with a claim or something like that? So they already have that ready to go. So when I went in there and met with the my RN, he was real chill, like, and very like super helpful and comforting to like what I was looking into. He was open to hear me out completely about like when he ever pains or issues that I'm having. I was able to describe it without feeling like pressured. Um, Very friendly. They weren't intrusive at all. And it was everything. Like if I had, they always said like if you have the time for it today, if you're able to put this in your schedule today, we could go over here to this lab. I can get this sent off. He even wrote down on the paper everything like on a piece of paper. Shit, we got it right here. Yeah, right here on the first floor, I'm gonna go to labs, and then down there on the first floor, I'm gonna run into radiology as well, where I'm gonna get scans from my low back, knees, and right shoulder. And then he wanted me to go to the Veteran Resource Center to see if I can even get my IV. And then I was supposed to go to the specialty clinic as well to start my physical therapy for the issues I was gonna have with my shoulder, because the radiology X-rays are gonna go to the oncology, and they're gonna review everything to make sure I'm good to go. And I'm gonna need that first before I even get into the physical therapy. So he got my X-rays out the way and sent off, so that way we don't have to deal with that. Um, but that was the craziest part about it. Like that meeting with him probably took the longest. Then after we had that conversation, he got his notes down to go to my doctor and all that. He even told me like he was letting me know how my provider is, and offer me like the mental health route, and that's something I'm very much into. So I even have that set up that I'm gonna get a phone call from them immediately after my appointment, so they can set me up and start my process with that. So after my appointment, I went. It was a huge place. It was nice elevators and everything. So I went on the elevator, hit that number one button, going back down to the first floor. As soon as I popped out the elevator, it had signs taking up north and south, and you already know, you don't really know where you're going just yet. But once you hit the intersection, you look down. All the booths have like their sign of what they are sticking out. So it says radiology, veteran services. You got a laboratory. You had what's the other one? So there was a bunch of them on that first floor that was all just like right there, man, four floors in the building. So when I went down the first floor, I was able to hit the labs, and yeah, I didn't know what I was in store for. They told me to fast, so I already was like didn't eat for like 12 hours and everything. So I went to the lab, and I checked in, and it was like, all right, cool, we're gonna call you. So I sat down. I'm still thinking like, because mind you, I had to pee when I was talking to my doctor or to the RN. So the first place I went to was labs, so I had to go pee if I needed to. So I'm sitting down. I think maybe like 5-10 minutes go by, They call my name. I go back. I'm like, oh snap. So as soon as I go in there, they had me sit down in the chair, and she already had like it was a blood draw chair. I'm like, okay, so she's sitting down and everything, or she has me sit down, and I'm like, sitting back and comfortable, and she's starting to talk to me, and I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, so at some point she's probably gonna tell me about like a P cup or anything, and she already had the needles and everything out, like they were packaged still, but she already had everything like set up, ready to go, like all I had to do was sit down, stick my arm out, and she was going to do what she needed to do. But I asked her, I was like, hey, do I have to pee at all in the cup or anything? So she checked right there in the lab, see what was ordered. She was like, nope, none of that. I was like, oh, can I go to the bathroom real quick? And she's like, yeah, sure. So I ran off to the bathroom real fast. It was right like a few feet over from where I was at. Used that bad boy, came back, sat back down. She drew like maybe like 4 vials and was like, you're good to go. Bandaged me up and was like, all right, appreciate you. You're done with us. So I went on out, walked out, and then I had busted a right. And as soon as I had busted that right, Veteran Services right there. I'm like, the resource center. I'm like, all right, cool. My nurse told me, talk to them to see if you can get your VA ID because I didn't have one yet. All this time, I still never had my Veteran Affairs ID. So I went over to the resource center. There was a black dude there. His arm banged up a little bit. Everybody there so far I talked to also they were vets too. So he's in there. He was real cool. Great customer service and all that. Even though like there was a conversation happening right next to us, so I had to repeat myself a few times, but he didn't show any frustration about that or nothing. He just kept it professional, and I was like, yeah, they told me to come down here to see if I can get an ID done. I know they said it's, we might not have one here. He was like, oh no, yeah, we got to take care. Go ahead, have a seat, and once they're ready for you, we're gonna call you. I was like, all right, cool. I sat down, and it was like maybe like 3 minutes went by. Roger, I was like, oh snap, the dude, that white dude came out there, grabbed me. I could tell he's been there all day. Like he still had customer service, but it wasn't as friendly as everybody else. Like he was just kind of like going through the motions a bit until he brightened up a little bit towards the end when we started cracking a few jokes. But he was like, yeah, I just got here like a month ago, and then I volunteered to be this VA's resident tech for, being able to do the IDs and stuff like that. So now at that one, we don't have to go to the main VA no more or pass an ID. We can just go right now to our closest one, which is only like 13 minutes away from me. It's our closest one, and I can go get my VA ID. And he told me it's going to take about like 7 to 10 days. It took maybe about 3 or 4, three. I give it maybe like a work week. I say maybe 5 days because I actually got it in the mail and I posted about it and I was like, wow, that didn't take no time whatsoever. And then I was able to go over there right to the specials and get my physical therapy schedule. Like they were going to send me a notification about that and everything. I think I got it. At the same day as my appointment. So I'm gonna be doing my physical therapy. I'm gonna go see my doctor and do my physical therapy all on that same day. Um, and that's going to be amazing. So I can't wait to do a update for you guys on that one. So that was pretty much my experience with it. One of the things I really wanted to share with everyone in regards to what I got in the VA and one of the resources is this community care urgent care assistance card. This one that I have is for regions 4 and 5. So that's going to be Arkansas. I'm gonna just give y'all the abbreviation. So AKASACOGUHIIDMPMTNM, Nevada. Yeah, that's Nevada. I know that for sure. Oregon, Texas, Utah. I've got tired of doing that. Washington and Wyoming. Um, Everyone, if you're one of those states or state abbreviations that I just listed, you're going to be part of 4 and 5. So this abbreviation will directly relate to you. I'm not 100% sure on the other areas. However, on the VA website, if you type in the Mission Care Act or the community care or just urgent care in general, you'll be able to get to the community care urgent care assistance. What this is, it is a insurance card, pretty much. It looks like this. Well, at least mine looks like this. I can fold it if I wanted to. But it is an insurance card for veterans. You can bring this card to your urgent care provider. What this card does for you, and I can actually break it down to you. Let's see. Only thing you need to do is you can either call in to see if your eligibility, which if you got this card, if you're part of the VA or in the VA or servicing the VA, you're eligible. But you can use the VA faculty locator that they have on the VA.gov/find locations. So that's a direct link for you guys to go there. What you're doing is you're going to find an in-network urgent care and or pharmacy, depending on what you got going on. You just bring a valid government issued ID. And what it's supposed to do is protect you from paying a copay at the time of your urgent care visit. Like you do not pay a copayment at the time of your urgent care payment, like at all. There's no copay. And I so wish I used this when I went to the urgent care after my accident because I didn't. I paid like 135 to be seen, and it. And then I paid again when I had to go to urgent care when I was sick, something else. And yeah, there was another 135 again. The other thing that it helps out with is going to be your medication. So when you do enter a VA pharmacy claim using the following information, you want to use the bin number that they have on here. You also have a treatment group, a PCN number, your person code. Uh, they'll need your full social, or if you have your VA card, ID number on the back of that, and then of course your date of birth. Um, they will not charge you a co-payment for dispensed medications. Um, and that's the beautiful thing. A maximum day supply for a veteran initial fill is 14 days, 7 days or fewer for opioids, no refills. So that's pretty much what you're getting is one of those situations. So in the event that you ever find yourself in crisis as well, you can go to an urgent care. You can print this out off of the VA. You can go to the VA and get one of these papers. Keep this with you in your car, like your registration. Keep it in there with you, so if you ever find yourself going to an urgent, this is going to save you. That's going to save you right there. How to access your urgent care? They also have the information for their breakdown. So pretty much what I was talking about. So first, you want to check your eligibility. If you're eligible, if you're enrolled in the VA healthcare system and receive care through the VA from either VA or community provider within the past 24 months. You can also contact your local VA. You're going to find your provider through that website, like I told you, www.va.gov/find locations, find tag locations, or just search urgent care on the website. I told you that too. You want to from after that, you confirm your provider. When you arrive, confirm the provider is an in-network VA urgent care provider. A sign must be posted, so it's going to be posted out there. Fill out an intake form and indicate that you would like to use your VA urgent care benefits. And then after that, get urgent care. Receive needed care from the provider. If you need prescriptions, medication, make sure the provider activates your pharmacy benefits under the VA urgent care benefit. The VA will pay, like I said before, a 14-day supply. Prescriptions must be filled by an authorized in-network pharmacy. And then file co-payments. Here it is. Remember I said protection from co-payment, but this is what it is. You may be charged a co-payment of $30 for using the urgent care benefit. Maybe. It's case by case. It all depends. Co-payments are billed separately by the VA. Do not pay a co-payment during the visit. So even though I said it might be charged $30, you're not paying that. As long as you have this form, you're not paying anything at the ER. Co-payments depend on your assigned priority group and how many times you use urgent care in a calendar year. So the VA would determine if and when you should be billed, if that's necessary, while going through urgent care. And if you need any more information, you can also contact your local VA medical facility, or you can visit va.gov/community care. Um, Now, here's the last little tidbit. I'm gonna give y'all this little resource here, and it may or may not be exclusive to my VA or not, but I'm gonna double check it. But they have this other program called the Patient Self Referral Direct Scheduling, which is PSDS. The PSDS process is intended to expedite specialty care by eliminating the need to obtaining a consult from your primary care provider. To schedule directly into one of those services, you typically have to reach out to your VA. Depending on your VA, they might have a list of like extensions for it, but I'm gonna list off the ones that we have out here at this AZVA. Hopefully, yours has just as much or more. So things that, if needed, I can go ahead and just call the VA and just schedule it and not need anything. Amputee services, audiology, clinical pharmacy, fall prevention, mammogram. There's a program called Move on my next VA veteran tank. I'm probably gonna get more information for you guys on Move. Nutrition and food services, oncology, active cancer included, optometry/eye care, podiatry, social work, tobacco cessation classes, and then also you have wheelchair information, and then you have access to mental health. They have a general from general mental health, and then they have specialized mental health. Uh, with those services they're provided to you, you'll be able to get everything taken care of. And I behoove all of you guys to go ahead and check out their mental health care. The general psychiatry is going to be the side where you'll get the prescriptions for like your PTSD, anxiety, depression, things like that. The specialized side is going to be where you'll find therapy, group sessions, and things like that. So the best way I can describe it, if you need help on a medication side to regulate what your body is going through when you are having any issues from what you've experienced, then that route is perfect. If you've already been on medication or you're not a big fan of medication, then I would highly recommend the specialized side because that will help you get off of the meds and actually attack the root cause of what's triggering some of these responses from your body. And that will help you prevent, or that should prevent you from having to use the meds at times, depending on like even for me, like I don't, I've gotten off the meds completely, but I do use other alternatives, and also started my therapy services back up. Um, so there are times like, yeah, I could. There's been times where I'm like, man, I would sure do wish I had one of my emergency meds right about now because it can get bad. It can get pretty rough. My, and I know it varies for everybody, but these are these are all that they have. These are services they have out here just to help us, just to really get us back on board to what we need and getting us really like back into the groove of being functioning folks. And oh, if you can't get there, at least ours have this veteran transportation services. That's what's wild. Expanded healthcare access provided. And they have a little quote down here that says anyone can go to a hospital, but here us go to the VA. Kind of like that. But their main goal is just to increase transportation resources for all veterans and focus on improving efficiency of existing transportation resources. And they call themselves VTS. VTS staff are committed in assisting veterans in making it to appointments, reducing transportation issues, meeting other veterans, and just enjoying the ride. So which is great too for a lot of our older vets that might be living alone, kind of get some time to socialize and experience another human being. uh, but there are ways that they can refuse transportation, like if the passenger is intoxicated, passenger has weapons, drugs, illegal substances, passenger uses foul, abusive language, or poses a threat to the safety of the driver or other passengers. So please be nice. Passengers uses any type of tobacco product on the vehicle, so no vaping, no smoking. Passengers refuse to wear a seatbelt. Don't be that person. Passengers have a medical condition impacting their awareness and ability to care for themselves. If you fall in that category, you 9 times out of 10 you should have a caregiver that's going to be with you. Passenger who refuses to transfer from personal scooter to design seat while moving in motion, let the scooter go. And veteran has 3 no-shows or untimely cancellations. Will suspend veteran from VTS services. So that's just kind of some of their don't do's there. And I read you their goals, but their mission mainly is to seeks to overcome barriers to the VAH access for all veterans, especially for those who are visually impaired, elderly, or immobilized due to disease or disability, and those living in rural areas. So that there is going to be my data dump for you guys on this good old VA. I'm definitely going to have more for everybody once I return back from my appointment with my actual PCM, um, which I'll be able to give more of a more in depth on that one. But if anybody wants to look up any of the stuff that I was talking about, main things to look up: the Mission Care Act. You want to definitely look into the Mission Care Act because that is what allows the community care network to even be a thing. So understand that, and especially if you're guys are into politics, I will hope you guys be into politics. If you hear anything about the Mission Care Act on the docket uh, inside politics, please pay attention because you don't want that taken away. Trust me, you don't want that underfunded. If anything, we want to get the VA funded more. Seeing that what they're doing with what they have, they're they're really trying to win us back. So I'm gonna get I'm gonna eat some crow and say go. I'm gonna support. I'm gonna be an advocate of the VA and say if you have not gone to the VA and you're a veteran, by all means, please go. So with that, I'll leave y'all with that information. Do with it what you want. And until next time, I'm your host again, Mr. Mims. Y'all gotta stay classy. And it's for all.